What's up, YouTube? Mr. Lama SC here, and today is the biggest news update yet for Diablo 4. This is going to be the fourth quarterly update and the itemization update. They've been talking about this one since the beginning. They said, we'll do items later, we'll do items later. Last time we got to see some cool stuff with the tree. I think they're going to touch on that again. But we are talking items, and I'm so excited. This is everything I've been waiting for. To me, this is make or break of the game. You can have so much other cool stuff, but if items are garbage, it just ruins so much. I mean, obviously there's a couple core pillars. Combat needs to be decent. You know, you have a couple things, but like items are so fun in so many games. And what you can craft, what you can get, what mods you can roll, trying to go for those perfect items. If they can't get this right, the game could be a wreck. And if they get this really right, get it perfect, the game could be fantastic. So let's pop in. As always, this is Mr. Lamessi's first time seeing this. So I have not read any of the update yet. We are going to go through this live together. So we'll start our introduction. Hello and welcome once again to the Diablo 4 quarterly update, our last for 2020. Progress in the game continues at a steady clip, and we're excited about several big updates and revisions that the team worked on for a long time that we're trying to complete before the holidays. Today's topic centers on one such major revision, which also happens to be the most requested topic this year. Figures. Itemization. Items are the lifeblood of Diablo. Couldn't have said it better myself. They are the element of the game that captures your imagination and keeps you playing and wondering, what if, after you put the game down. Whether it's anticipating the next piece of perfectly rolled godly gear or kicking around item combinations in your head like a mad scientist, items are undoubtedly a major part of what makes Diablo so compelling and so different from other games. I mean, that right there is a perfect summation of what items are and what they mean. So I'm happy that they have already noted that, because shows at least some basic understanding of the importance of items that I don't believe got captured in Diablo 3. Understanding how important it is to get itemization right, we paid special attention to early player feedback about this part of the game. We knew that many more iterations awaited between what we showed you at BlizzCon 2019, our follow-up blogs, and the final game release. We also knew from the past Diablo entries that we will need to have the time and resources to make these iterations. Thankfully, we have that baked into our current schedule. Good. Getting all of your feedback encouraged us to move some of that iteration time forward so we could get our newest direction in front of you sooner. Awesome. Lead game designer Joe Shelley is going to walk us through all our major itemization updates today. We've reviewed every aspect of itemization from top to bottom and reworked elements that we felt weren't living up to their potential, from the individual stats that our classes tap into to the visual representation of items in your inventory. Ooh, come on, baby. Come on. Because that was something before that I definitely complained a lot about, was like, they just look so bland in the inventory. And all right, let's see. That's getting me excited. Of course, it's still early. We have lots more playtesting and iterating to do, but we think this direction puts us down a more solid foundational path, and we couldn't be happier to share it with you today. You can keep tabs on what we're up to on our social media, and as always, please tell us what you think of this update on our forums and all your favorite places to talk Diablo. The comment section below. They read it. We're probably hanging out there too, and we'll continue to look out for popular topics to tackle in future blogs. Speaking of which, our next update will take place during BlizzCon Line. Ooh, okay. Rather than in blog form. We've read speculation about what it could be and want to ensure you that it is something chunky indeed. Hold on. Speaking of which, our next update will take place rather than in blog form. We've read speculation about what it could be and want to ensure. It's something chunky indeed. Okay. Without spoiling the surprise, let's just say it involves a new version of the campfire scene we showed you last BlizzCon. Okay. Hold on, what does this mean? Next class, we're going to get the final classes. Because last time, we only know 3 of the characters, right? So I guess we're going to get 2 more characters. Ooh. Okay. All right, that's cool. Thank you all. See you in hell, Luis, game director. Sweet. I wonder what they are. What do you guys think the classes are going to be? They have to bring in some sort of archery, ranger, rogue, Amazon style character, right? And then do you think they're going to go with that like necro summon style? Do you think they're going to go more in the way of like paladin or whatever it's called in Diablo 3? You know, that other character. Like the holy character style, crusader. I feel like those two are going to be something like you need like the holy character and you need the Amazon style. I don't know. We'll see. But Amazons are females only, and they were doing all the classes could be either gender. So maybe there's like some new style of Amazon here. Today we're going to look at some changes to items in Diablo 4 and update you on a few things we've shared in our previous development blogs. In deciding what changes to make, we focus on 3 core ideals. First, we want to strengthen class identity by providing intuitive fantasy hooks. Items and skills that lean into the fantasy of your class are best. Cool. Second, we want to support deeper customization through our itemization. Yes. Items should support and enhance your class, not define it. Definitely. We've talked about that before. I think they are more in line with that for sure. Finally, we're landing on overall depth somewhere between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. We aim to provide years of things to discover and countless ways to build a class. Very cool. Skill tree. I'm hoping that between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, it's leaning one way, but you know, that's just me. Skill tree. Since releasing the last quarterly blog post on the skill tree, we've been reviewing all of your feedback. Our team has also had a lot of hands-on time with our skill trees and frequent internal playtests, including an extended progression playtest. Based on this, we're confident that it's a solid direction, so we're going to iterate on it and make further improvements. For example, we're increasing the clustering of related skill nodes so players don't have to go across the tree to find skill upgrades for their builds. Good, because it was very weird how everything was placed in all these random sections on the tree. So it was like, you want to be cold, you have to like go through all of these random things to hit it. It was a strange way. So I'm happy that they're clustering things together more. That makes a lot more sense. The ability to respecialize or respec your skills is a tricky one to balance. Like many of you, we want choices to matter and characters to feel different from each other, not just one click away from being identical to all others. We also want to encourage players to experiment with different skills when they start playing and discover builds that are right for them. In Diablo 4, you will be able to respec your skills and passives. The number of times you can do this will be unlimited, but it won't be free. Good. It'll be easy to do when you first start a character. As your character grows, the effort and cost required to respec will grow too. In the end game, changing your build will require significant investment to appropriately match the time and effort you put into defining your character. Perfect. I mean, honestly, that's exactly what I would have recommended. If they came to me and were like, hey, Llama, how do you think we should implement respec? I would have simply said, same idea, right? Start it off. Okay, sure. You know what? When you're low level, whatever, you can make it easy. But like late game respecs need to have higher investment. Whether that's similar to PoE, where you can only respec a node at a time, and so it costs more orbs, or if it's something more grandiose, where you want to respec the whole thing back, but it's just going to cost a lot more to do so. I think that's great, right? Make it have a cost, and I like the growing cost as well. So I think that's a perfect way to do it. Tree stuff, we'll see. I mean, they seem to still like the current tree, I guess, with better clustering. So hopefully it has enough depth still to it. That was my only concern, really, with the tree before, is I felt like there wasn't enough skill, enough depth to be unique and have so much variety. But you know what? They're playtesting it, so maybe they got some stuff. All right. In our last blog, we agreed with their feedback that too much of a character's power came from the items they wore. And we liked the imagery conjured by the phrases angelic power and demonic power, but they didn't reinforce the fantasy of what being a barbarian, a sorcerer, or a druid is all about. They're not going to give us what those other two characters are here. I was hoping they'd slip up and a paladin is, oh, whoa, crap, we meant druid. So we went back to our roots and looked at the classic RPG elements of early Diablo games. Yes. What are you really doing when you wade through a horde of monsters and emerge a level higher on the other side? You're training, you're practicing a skill, you're getting better at what you do, becoming stronger and smarter. When you gain a level, you'll receive points to spend in strength, intelligence, dexterity, or willpower, along with your skill points. They've gone back to stats. Wow. Very interesting. Of course, most barbarian builds are going to benefit from a healthy measure of strength, but as you build out your character and decide on skills and synergies, you'll want to mix in other attributes. Wow. I did not think they were going to do that. I don't even know how to feel about it. Strength, intelligence. Man, I need... Like, a lot of people, I don't think like stats. But if none of these correlate to vitality, that's a big difference, right? Like, I feel like that's the problem. When it always, I'll read more. When it always goes into life, then it life is just too good. Okay, let's read more and we'll get further and then we can go back. When you gain a level, you'll receive points to spend straight, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they said that. Okay. As a barbarian, each point of strength will increase the damage of your skills. Willpower improves fury generation. So willpower is the like mana, right? Yeah. Dexterity grants critical chance. Meanwhile, as a sorceress, intelligence skill increases damage, willpower grants a crit chance, and dexterity hastens mana recovery. Ooh. Each stat also confers a secondary defensive bonus. All right, let's look into this further. So, on the left, we have the Barbarian. Increases skill damage by 4.05, increases defense. Intelligence increases all resistances. Ooh, so it has a resistance increase through your intelligence. Kind of an interesting idea. Willpower increases resource generation, improves healing received, and dexterity increases crit chance by 2.75, improves chance to dodge attacks. Okay. And then strength increases the defense. So I'm guessing a sorceress just doesn't run strength, which is fine. She's a sorceress. Intelligence increases skill damage and increases resistances. That seems super good. Willpower increases crit strike chance and improves healing. Also seems decent. And dexterity increases resource generation by 1.05. Improves chance to dodge attacks. I need to process this for a second. So intelligence is obviously going to be huge on a sorceress. You're going to dump a lot into there. I doubt you're going to care too much about strength and dexterity. If you're running maybe some crits chance build, you'll do some willpower, but I could see people just being smashing intelligence fully. Barbarian, I like the barbs mix better because increasing all res seems like something that you would consider more, and so you would want to invest into resistances. So you're gonna get some of that, you're gonna get some of this. I don't think you're going to really invest in willpower that much, to be honest. Healing received and resource generation, that's what potions are for and stuff. And then dexterity, you'll obviously be investing in as well. So I could see a barbarian kind of going strength, int, dex. But a sorceress, I feel like you're int. Willpower. Dexterity needs something else on it. And or strength needs something else. Unless, I don't know exactly how defense is going to work in this game. I know defense in Diablo 2 is pretty worthless for most of the game. But, late game it's got some use and stuff. But, casting speed? If you want to get into that, maybe you don't want to. But that could be a really interesting idea. Just to because that's kind of what I'm seeing intelligence, right? In dual, once again, I'm saying like a majority of it. I'm saying in like, why would I put points into intelligence as a barbarian? The only point I would do it is if for some reason my gear doesn't max out my resistances. So I say, okay, I'm going to put a few extra points into intelligence to get my res up to where I want them to be. So like, I like kind of having it in that way, but you know, I don't know. Let's read some more. Overall, I think this is interesting. I think these are decent. I love that nothing gives to life, because otherwise, once again, vitality is just always a given. And that's just that. Resistance has to be able to be maxed. Otherwise, if you get over 100 resistance, then you take 0 damage. I mean, okay. So, I'm sure there's more here. Let's keep reading. You can supplement your character's stat build with items to give you a little more willpower here, a little more strength there, but the vast majority of your stats will come from how you choose to spend your points. Cool. Yeah, I know. The attack and defense, I'm not huge on the attack defense. Kind of a weird, but whatever. We can talk about that later. Here's where it gets really interesting. Many of the nodes in each class skill tree have additional effects if you meet specific primary stat thresholds. Okay, so that's how they're going to do the thing. Okay, you'll get the baseline effect of these nodes when you spend the skill points to unlock them, but get enough of the corresponding primary stat and bonus effect will activate. Got it. So they're doing, and let me move this. And so Fury cost 10 per second, rapidly attack nearby enemies for 39 to 47, deals physical damage. Cool. So that's Whirlwind. Then Whirlwind upgrade restores 1 Fury each time it hits an enemy. Whirlwind upgrade. Whirlwind no longer slows Barbarian's movement speed while active, and if you have 150 dex, provides a 3% movement speed each second while active, stacking up to 15%. Whirlwind critical strike damage is increased by 10%, 225 strength and dexterity. Ooh, strength and dex. Whirlwind provides plus 1% critical strike damage per second while active, stacking up to 20%. Ooh. Okay, I like this. This is very unique. Yeah, so you can say, all right, I will grab some dexterity to try and get these bonuses right here. Or if it's not worth it to you, then you don't. So this is how they're kind of, I'm guessing they're just dropping demonic angelic power completely, switching all of that over to stats, and then having the stats shift into these bonuses right here. This is really cool. This is something that definitely, Diablo 2 was like lacking in, right? Diablo 2 stats, like when they said we're bringing stats back, I was like, man, that's like the one thing in Diablo 2 I feel like kind of sucks a little bit. It's like, I mean, there's a couple things, but that's one of the worst things about it is like, cool, vitality, done. All right, like choices over. Now there's actually a lot more consideration of the stats. This incentivizes stat distribution, changing it up, putting it in other places. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Let's see what Ice Blades has going here. Conjure Ice Blades for 12 seconds. Rapidly slash enemies and chill. Blah, blah, blah. Increase the summon duration of your Ice Blades by 5 seconds. And this one has willpower. Ice Blades deal additional damage to frozen targets. Nice. That's cool. I really like that they've looked into some of that right there, because they're like we said, there was some need to. Yeah. So now you want to think about how you allocate your stat points to activate these effects. Now the thing that I'm really thinking about here is it brings up even more like calculation that you have to do, because you're like running around and you have the 140 willpower thing unlocked and your belt gives you 25 willpower, and then you find like a GG belt, and now it's like you switch it out, But dang it, like you lose that upgrade. So I like it. I love you're going to need d4planner.com right there on mrlawmsc.com/d4planner. Probably something like that. Cool. All of that I think is actually a really interesting way to reintroduce it. I actually thought demonic, angelic power, stuff like that was interesting, but maybe needs some fidgeting. And so actually bring it in this way, I think is a really cool way to do it. Now, what we've all been waiting for, items. Weapon types. As we've hinted in our last blog, we're making substantial changes to core optimization. We'll start by looking at the many different weapons available to classes in Diablo 4. Our weapon types look visually distinct and have meaningful effects on gameplay through features like the Barbarian's Arsenal. We've also done a lot of work in the game engine to make weapons feel more real and physical, like the Barbarian carving a trough through the ground with their mace during upheaval. I mean, that does look pretty sweet, the way he drags that. I'm not going to lie. Characters in Diablo 4 use their weapons to perform skills, blah, blah, blah. So first, I want to talk really quickly on this before we go to the next part. Items really need to, in my opinion, have that meaningful difference between them. I think it actually makes a lot of sense and improves the game. Having your barbarian or whoever carry a spear and get that range and his pokes versus carrying an axe versus carrying two swords versus shield, and so, right, like the ranges on them, the attack speed, the attack animation, all of those things are really important. Not just for gameplay, but for visual, for the world itself. So I like that they're talking about that and talking about making the weapons feel more real and physical, because you want to, when you hit something, you want to feel like you're hitting it. So good audio is a really big piece of that as well. All right. But something was still missing. Wand should be faster than quarterstaves, and swords and maces should do different things. Yeah, that's what I just said. Perfect. To see what that feels like in action, we've added weapon speeds and inherent characteristics to all weapons in our latest internal test environment. Good. What are these numbers, though? 850 weapon attack speed? 1305? Just bring the number down. just lower it. Take the 0 off. Take 2 zeros off of it. Make it like, 25 and 35 or something. Okay. Conjuration Omen, rare wand. That's a cool graphic for a wand. Weapon attack speed, very fast weapon, plus 3% critical strike chance. Okay, I guess that adds to your spells and not your wand itself. I doubt anybody's slapping stuff with a wand. Oh, that's the weapon attack. Still, just take the numbers down. This is a wand. How much damage is a stupid wand supposed to do? That should do like 3 damage. 4% damage to immobilized enemies, 21 life regen, hit effect, 4% immobilization chance. Okay, and then so it looks like this is the inherent, so the crit strike chance and then the resource regeneration are the inherent things. Yeah, I'm guessing it factors into spell damage. I'm guessing that's why it's a weapon attack. Yeah, it's spell one. I know, I'm just saying. It's kind of a funny thing, but whatever. Slow weapon, very fast weapon. Cool. Love it. We've got different weapon speeds, which makes total sense. Though you do... Okay, so that's actually interesting, because this would add to your, spell damage, right? You're casting a faster attack here with less spell damage, or a slower attack here with higher spell damage. So that's kind of curious that you're, casting spell speed is going to be different depending on the speed of your weapon. Kind of an interesting piece to it. So in general, one-handed weapons excel at letting you attack and reposition quickly. Slower two-handed weapons deal more damage. Okay, we're just literally saying the same thing. You can really feel the differences between them. Yeah, so here we can see top one is the one-handed, going fast. Bottom one, oh wait. No, bottom one's faster, sorry. And this is the staff. Okay, that's interesting. all that factors into DPS right there. And then I guess as well as movement and all of that. So yeah, I guess the big thing will be, will they make two-handers viable enough and like enough damage that it's worth going over the faster speed? Because I know in like so many of the other RPGs, fastest attack speed is like so good in so many cases, right? If something has a slow attack speed, it's just like, ugh, forget it. Just not worth it, just sitting there. So you really have to make it like have like a purpose. In addition to speed, each type of weapon has an inherent physical characteristic. For shields, this is block value, meaning that any shield you find in Sanctuary is going to have block, in addition to any magical affixes it might have. As physical properties, these traits are consistent across all weapons of the same type and cannot be modified. Right, so shield block, crit chance, and then a chance to inflict bleed for the rare axe. Yep. All good. You might notice another thing about these items, they're high resolution renders of the actual equipment, which is cool. In a game like Diablo, icons are important. They often contribute as much as to the identity of a cool piece of loot as the in-game representation on your character. Items that don't appear on your character like rings are defined by their icons. We've upgraded all of them. Cool. That's why they all look so cool. I was like, look how awesome that wand is. That's why they look so cool. I like that. Item qualities. All right, here we go. Item qualities. We've also made some exciting changes to the game's item qualities. Philosophically, we like to clarify. We like the clarity of analysis afforded by clearly understood item tiers. In other words, we think players of all skill levels benefit from not having to scrutinize every single item that drops to see if it might be an upgrade for them. True. Blue magic items are good. Yellow rares are usually better. There's a great feeling of progression when you graduate into items with greater complexity, more powerful effects, and cooler looks as you level up. Completely agree. And the game-changing powers found in legendary items in Diablo 3 are exciting and offer many possible effects that aren't just possible with the regular affixes. I'll take your word for it. That said, we don't want to end up in a place where the right decision is to ignore every item that doesn't have a glowing orange sky beam. That was always the disagreement right there I had. So we're making a lot of changes here. We're increasing the potential power of individual affixes on magic items. We're increasing the maximum number of affixes on rare and better items in the endgame. Legendary affixes now roll randomly on legendary items, and unique items will replace mythics. Unique items will replace mythics. Wait, they're bringing unique items into the game? So they're just dumping mythics and calling... Oh, okay, cool. All right, let's see. Let's jump in on this. Okay, so immobilizing mystical staff. Uniques are back, baby. Level 58 weapon tag, blah, blah, blah. Hit effect, 16.8% immobilized chance. Cool. Now, awful Dominion staff. Level 58 slow weapon, 10% chance to vulnerable enemies, 8% crit strike. Hit effect, 11% to immobilize chance. So there we can see the hit effect, right, going down because rare can't get as high. And then lastly, the staff of Ursine. 1158 weapon attack, 21 strength, 6% overpower chance, 9% chance to immobilize. Knockdown enemies take 46% additional damage from your attacks. Cool. In this case, I mean, I'm still picking the legendary over the rare here. So I would definitely, because like right here, we're seeing 4 affixes on this legendary. Empty socket, is that like a socket you can put something into? Or is that where it like a stat's going? I'm guessing that's a socket to put something into the item. Okay. Okay, we'll talk on that in a second. I want to keep reading, but I've got some thoughts there. Legendary affixes. You can think of legendary items as rare items with 1 affix replaced with a legendary effect. Yeah, see, that's the issue. These new legendary affixes work just like regular affixes in that they can roll randomly on different items and in different slots. Many can be used by any class, while some are specific to our particular class. All right, so when you stand inside your own damage and ground effects, you increase the damage dealt. When your chill effects will trigger freeze 25% faster, yada, yada, yada. Increase the duration of your defensive skills. Meteor gains 45% critical strike damage. Chill effects will trigger freeze. I have to say, one of the things that I'm really happy about, and maybe this is wrong, but I haven't seen increased crit strike chance yet. So I'm happy that I haven't seen any of that right here. We'll see what happens. Okay, you'll notice a variety of our affixes in the example above, including elemental resistances and sockets for gems and runes, which can appear on items in place of another affix. Right, and of course, attack comes from your weapons, while defense comes from your armor, with the increase to the maximum number of affixes available on items. We'll also be adding new affixes to the game to make sure there's plenty of diversity. Okay, we'll go over affixes, and I'm going to make a little notepad here. Affixes, magic / rare / legendary. Uniques. Uniques are making a comeback. All right. We're embracing the fantasy of these build around items with completely fixed affixes, heavily thematic, and usually class-specific powers and distinctive looks. Here's some of these. Kilt of a Plaguebringer, max life, elite damage reduction, reduced potion cooldown, +1 to rank to hunt the weak. Your poisons no longer deal damage over time. Instead, 127% of the total damage is dealt to the target when your poisons expire. Interesting. Stormwalker's Cudgel, melee stats, damage, crit strike, damage. That's still damage, okay. Attack speed. When Hurricane deals damage, there's a chance to automatically cast Tornado at the target for free. Poisoned enemies hit. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Okay. We still like the idea of mythic items, so we don't want to create an item quality that invalidates all others, so they're out for now. One of the things we loved most about them was the promise of getting random legendary powers on an item, so we folded that into our baseline legendary design. With the addition of skills and passives tree, primary stat points, and changes to items in Diablo 4, we can't wait to see all the builds you create. Maybe we'll focus on skills augmented by uniques we designed. Create something from scratch out of different legendary affixes. Discover a creative pairing of primary stats with specific skills, or even incorporate the odd, rare, or magic item to maximize a specific affix to great effect. We're excited to read through the community feedback on these updates in this blog. As always, please remember that none of this is final in the game as they actually continue development. Your constructive discussions around these features, blah, blah, blah. We greatly appreciate support. We continue to work on itemization. We're looking forward to see you at BlizzCon Online. Woohoo! We have lots to share in 2021 regarding some of our other features. Ooh. I can't wait to tell you about all of them. Joe Shelley. Thank you, Joe. All right. So let's do a quick run through and then we'll get into affixes, magic, rare, legendary. Skill tree. Cool. I like the respec stuff. I'm interested. I like the clustering. I think those are two great changes. I still think having more could be better there. It felt like the skill tree didn't have enough still, but maybe they had some more. Primary stats. I actually really love the stats change. I think this is a really cool way to integrate it. I do think there could still be some slight changes in some of these things. Like strength is just super nothing on a sorceress. But if you don't want a sorceress to get strength, then ignore it, sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be curious to see how they balance all of that. Love all of this, the skills, and then kind of the upgrades as well is interesting. I'm guessing this will be putting multiple points into your skill potentially to get to an upgrade. That's my assumption. I'm not exactly sure how that'll work. Right. Thematically, a sorceress shouldn't be getting a lot of strength. So, like I say, I'm kind of fine if that's the way they want to go with it. But I would be curious if there's going to be like things in their tree that are like, you have 150 strength, and it's like, oh, well, that's a big dump for a waste, kind of. I like the weapon type idea a lot. Having different weapon speeds just makes sense. If that was actually a thing that wasn't going to exist in the game, like, I didn't even realize. I thought that they were going to have weapon speeds in this game already. So I'm kind of like shocked, and I'm like, wow, that would have been a big miss if they didn't have that. So I'm happy that they've altered them so that a giant staff is different from a wand or something. It's interesting that it differs on casting speed, though. Like I say, I think that could be a difficult thing for sure to like get past, because I know I make so many sacrifices to go to the next cast speed breakpoint in Diablo 2. So, you know, what will be that big trade-off right there? And that'll be a balancing thing. The weapon types and having the inherent things, I think that's fine. Sure, just like D3. Yeah, like I say, I don't have a lot of experience with D3 weapon speed casting. So, you know, that's just me saying, I'm just thinking from the Diablo 2 perspective of it, how much I sacrifice to increase that cast speed. But maybe it's totally fine. Maybe it's totally worth it, right? Either way, I like them having that. Item qualities. Legendaries still seem wrong a little bit. A legendary item is a rare item with one affix replaced with a legendary effect. It just feels like it's just going to be stronger, like, all the time. I mean, I guess it's replacing it with a legendary effect, and so you'd have to find a very specific effect to your build. So maybe like, at this point, you have to say let's say that a rare item, I don't know how many affixes it can have. Let's say it can have 5 affixes. This one has 3, but let's just say it can go to 5. So you have to say that the 5th affix can be stronger than any legendary effect it can have on it, right? And I think that's where it's at. So, but maybe it's really hard to get to that perfect point of it or something. A socket is considered an affix now. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, it does say rare items get up to 5, but sockets are affixes. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, so I guess you find a mythic or legendary. I'm just worried legendaries will overshadow a ton, because now you're like it seems like magics are super low. Rares are going to definitely have a higher boost and chance, which is, you know, I guess you want it, as long as magics can have some cool things. I don't know. I'm definitely worried a little bit that legendaries, I guess it depends the drop rate and everything, because they're random what the effect is going to be, though. So I guess you have to consider that piece. I guess it all comes down to the strength of the legendary affix, right? Meteor gains 45% critical strike damage bonus against vulnerable targets. Your chill effects will trigger freeze 25% faster, but you deal 30% less frost damage. When you stand inside your own damaging ground effects, you increase the damage it do. Okay, I mean, I guess these aren't sounding crazy OP. You know. As long as these are not too strong, I think it's fine. The problem is, if you have a legendary affix that's just like so good, right? Let's just say it's something insane like, you every time you get hit, you have a chance to, cast a high level, Frost Nova or something like that. And it's like really high and good. Like that could just be so solid, like 50% chance to cast a damaging and freezing Frost Nova or something. If, that could be worth a ton. And obviously nothing can exist like your fireball does 1,000% more damage, because then nothing else matters, right? So that would definitely be the biggest concern I would have is a legendary affix ever going to be so good that it's like 100, even 100%, 50% more fireball damage? Instantly that becomes better than any stat, and thus any rare will never be good, because you'll just want to hunt down every legendary affix on all of your gear that says 50% more fireball damage, right? So like they have to be very situational and very whatever there. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. It's a big piece. The affixes overall, I think, are the biggest thing I want to talk about as like a next thing to talk about. And it's just that, like, I don't know how exciting the affixes themselves are. Like, I want to see, I don't see a increases crit. Oh no. Strike chance. Don't do it. Get rid of this. Why is this here? Get rid of it. Ugh. Crit strike chance is horrible. So first off, Joe, please remove crit strike chance. I know it sounds fun, but when a build just runs 500% or 100% crit strike chance with 1,000% crit strike damage, it just becomes, it's just so stupid. That worries me. I don't like crit strike chance at all. I think it just needs to be removed from the pool completely. You can have the crit strike damage go up a little bit, all that stuff, but yeah, this also has critical strike chance. So if this is now a rare affix, this isn't a legendary thing. This is just an affix in the affix pool. I can just stack all my gear up and then have a 100% chance to crit. If it's only on weapons, okay, that's maybe better. Right. That's like such a dangerous affix, in my opinion. But I'd love it to be gone. But overall, I still do feel a little bit iffy, whatever, about the stats themselves or the affixes themselves. Like let's go through and click all the buttons and get a list of all of the affixes that we see so far. Okay. 11.5% elite damage reduction. It's not the most exciting affix. 9% control duration bonus. Plus 18 life regen. 34% movement speed on elite kill. I would honestly love to change all of those. Like 34% movement speed on elite kill just seems kind of like, why doesn't the boot just have a movement speed on it? Like, why am I building? Because this isn't a unique affix that's specific to like a unique item. I would love this to be a unique item right here. Boots of Perilous Tread, tread, the unique item, and it's all about building around killing elites. And so you can put these boots on, and so it's, very specific to, like, I like to do a lot of elite fighting in these boots, and this is, like, helpful against that. As just a general attribute in the affix pool, it's just it just doesn't feel good to me. Movement speed on elite kill, elite damage reduction, I just don't think those make for good affixes. Straight up. I don't even know what control duration means. So I'm just, that's an affix though. That's standard. So I don't know. But like this item bores me as a rare. As a unique, I think it can stick pretty similar. Otherwise, that's a very boring item to me. And like, why do boots not have a run walk speed on them? Is run walk speed or movement speed a thing for like boots? Or does it just generic? I don't know. Maybe some of them do and some of them don't, and this one just doesn't have it. Maybe. I don't know. We don't see any run walk on the boots we see. All right. Yeah, these ones. Oh, these do have 5.5% movement speed. Okay. All right, so movement speed is an attribute. All right, let's go to the tunics here. I was looking for it at the top. 17 dexterity, 19 intelligence, plus 46 thorns, 24% cold resist. Plus 46 thorns. Okay, so I'm guessing that's an attacker takes damage attribute. Hopefully one of those kind of worthless ones. That's my assumption. Okay. I mean, it's very bland, but like, I like all those attributes in the pool. And people are going to be like, you just like them because they're in Diablo 2's item pool. And I'm like, yeah, because Diablo 2 does items really well. Yeah, totally fine. I guess legendaries are just supposed to be rares. So that makes sense. I'd love to see stuff potentially, and this is fine, like all of these. I'd love to see affixes that roll specific to certain items, and they probably are. I'd guess movement speed is specific to boots. So like enhanced defense for armors and stuff, and maybe some other cool things that are on stuff, whatever. But all right, that's fine. 16 to willpower. I think having the stats is going to be really important for all these items, so that's good to see. 12% control duration bonus. Control duration. First off, the bonus seems weird. I feel like it should just be 12% control duration instead of bonus. CC duration. So like, oh, okay. So they're saying if I do a freeze, then it's 12% increase duration on the freeze. Okay, I actually like that attribute. Yeah, I actually like that attribute. That's kind of nice. You'll probably have to just like completely nerf it in PvP though, I would imagine. But PVM, I think that's not bad. Yeah. I think that's fine. 5% dodge chance seems fine. 5.5% movement speed seems fine. 12 to maximum mana. Sorcerer only. Why is there attack on the amulet and the ring? I thought we got rid of that. Okay. 6% ranged damage. Okay. 9% mana cost reduction. +1 rank to ceaseless bolts. Okay, so this is very specific to like only a sorcerer is using this amulet at all. And then an empty socket. Wait, how's there an empty socket? I thought there were already 5 attribute or affixes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How does this amulet have a 6th affix? They're cheating. I thought this was supposed to remove an affix. Glitched items confirmed. Okay. 4% lightning damage. Okay. As an affix, maybe lowered. 6% mana cost reduction. 9 to maximum mana. Sorcerer only. That's a lot of sorcerer only stuff on like rings and ammies. Kind of wish it was more universal. I feel like at this point, these things shouldn't be getting like from a generic affix pool. Shouldn't be getting so crazy. 7% damage while healthy. Okay, that's probably the worst affix I've read yet. While healthy? What? I don't like that one. They only have 3. Yeah. Okay, 42 max life, plus 6 life on kill. Cooldown reduction. Got to be careful with that one. Also cooldowns. That's a whole other thing. And control duration bonus, which I already said I think that's an interesting affix. Yeah, so I feel like half the affixes seem interesting, and the other half seem very strange / confusing / too specific, right? Rings and amulets having these like sorcerer only things and stuff on them. That's very like if I'm running around and I find a ring, I don't want to like identify it and be like, oh darn, it's only for a sorcerer. But yeah. Okay. Maybe it's because the legendary affix is for a sorcerer spell, but still, like, what if I just want to use this amulet even though the thing doesn't, work for me? Like, I feel like that's how it will be a lot of times when I'm playing through. I'll get something that has legendary affix that isn't for me, but I'd still want to be able to use the, like, item as a rare, kind of. And here it's like, it becomes worthless unless it's a sorcerer. So, yeah. What we got over here? 4% damage to immobilized enemies. It's just such a boring stat. Like, it's probably fine, but it's such a boring stat. It's so specific. I'm sure they will reject. I'm saying I don't like that just because there's an amulet that also is for the druid. I'm just saying, like, I don't like the sorcerer only piece on this. Crit strike chance. 18.8% overpower damage. So overpower is going to be one of the sorceress skills, I guess, if I remember correctly. So this item has a direct boost on the damage of that spell. I don't know if I like that exactly. Yeah, not as much a fan with the specific. I'd rather, it was like 18.8% light damage, fire damage, something like that. Make it a little more, spread and have some more use style. Is overpower an inherent property? I guess I'm not exactly sure there, but a little more universal, a little more like, okay, I can grab this weapon as a druid and increase my % lightning damage, and I have a lightning spell or something, I feel like I'd rather go there with it. Overpower is not a spell? Okay, I don't know what overpower is. I thought it was some sort of spell, but maybe not. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd like that universal, but yeah, maybe they're saying this is like +6 to rabies or something, right? But like, why would +6 to rabies be on a rare affix pool? Is the question, I guess. Overpowered something like crushing blow or deadly strike. Oh, okay. So they're saying you can have crushing blow and deadly strike on your spells now, not just on like a melee or ranged weapon. Okay. So it's like increased crushing blow damage. Wait, so what's crushing blow then if it's increased damage? If it's not like a % of life or something. Okay, I guess there's some questions there to be asked. Hit effect +4% immobilized chance. I think that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some of these are fine. I guess the combinations of them all coming together is seeming weird, Like whenever I see these weapons and these items, there's very few of them that I'm like, yeah, that's just overpower is a druid passive skill. Okay, so that is like that then. Which then I ask, truly, why is overpower damage on a rare weapon? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that right there doesn't make sense to be in the rare affix pool. Because then we're just getting down to the point of literally I pick up so many items and they're going to have like, this has chance for overpower. This has chance for ice blast. And so you're just going through all the rare items until you find the one that has your skill on it to get your damage. And that seems kind of silly to me. Yeah, the item also says sorcerer, but that's a druid skill. So it's confusing. I don't know. Questions. Lots of questions there. Life on kill, sure. 12% damage to elites. They really like the elites thing. Okay. 6% damage to elites, 4 to life on kill, 8% chance to execute non-injured or injured non-elites. Okay. These are just such... I feel like so many of these affixes should be on uniques. Like... Does this affix only spawn on melee weapons? Or will this spawn on a wand as well? And where you have a chance to execute injured non-elites there. I feel like these things should be the legendary affixes or on uniques to make those unique styles. And the generic affix pool should just be more generic. They're like so specific. Like 8% chance to execute injured non-elites. Like that's such a specific, breakdown to what it's hitting and stuff. I don't know. I don't like that part. Yeah, it's too specific. I feel like affix pools should be very generic, right? It's just like, hey, you've got your resistances, you've got your stats, you've got your damages, you've got your defenses, you've got your movements, you've got, like your mana, your life, your whatever. And once again, people will be like, your D2 bias is showing, but like D2 items I think are one of the best parts of Diablo 2. So I lean heavily on those items when I come here. But even still, I mean, let me go over here. Like here's some PoE affixes. Normal item mods. Increase life, defense percent and stun recovery. Base local defense and life. Item found rarity increase. Increase specific socket at gem level. Attacker takes damage. Dexterity, intelligence, item found rarity. Increased accuracy, life regen, fire res, cold res, light res, chaos, stun recovery, local attributes. Like, that's a fantastic attribute pool. Right there. You've got your prefixes, you've got your suffixes, and it just, that to me is what an affix pool looks like on a rare and a magic, and in this case, a legendary. Hit effect, 8% chance to execute injured non-elites, 18.8% overpowered damage. We get it, you love D2. This is Path of Exile, my friend. This isn't D2. Right? It's like, this is just whatever PoE Vault affixes. But if you want to go to Diablo 2 affix, add sockets, attack rating enhanced damage, defense, elemental damage, elemental resistances, enhanced damage, increased stack size for throwing, plus light radius, magic find, mana, skill levels, monster flee, stamina, attack effects, breakpoint increases damage reduction, damage reflect, durability, elemental, enhanced damage, fast unlock, item drops, blah, 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 blah. Right. You just get a lot of, just... it's a standard affix pool. This is what you come to expect on it, but what rolls into really cool things, right? Like for instance, let me find like a cool thing or something. All right, well, zoom in. Right? So it's like you can get these cool combinations of things. It's not even like that amazing of a weapon, but it does have nice ED on it. But like just things like that, Or yeah, let me go back out. Whatever, there's just all sorts of random things. I'm having too much trouble moving this stuff around. Jeweler's light plate of stability. Let's see what we can find. Right, Jeweler's Archon plate of the whale. Whatever, It's just a big ol' armor that's got 4 open sockets and life on it. That's it. Whatever stuff. So, regardless, going back to the main piece. Let me do this and go here. going back to the main piece of it, I just feel like a lot of these attributes are getting very, very specific into things. Mana cost reduction, sorcerer only, elite damage reduction, movement speed on elite kill, overpowered damage, 8% chance to execute injured non-elites. And it just gets super specific. And I just feel like we need to, that base pool needs to just be simple. Just have, these sorts of things. Just have these sorts of things, Because like all of this combined, you don't need to have those crazy weird things, Like all of these combined, if I find that awesome armor that's got increased life, defense percent, and stun recovery, and base local defense and life, and then also has increased all resistance, intelligence, and dexterity or something, that could be like the perfect rare item. Like you can't beat it. And it's just because it hits all your base things. It gets you the life, it gets you the hit recovery, it gets you the stats, it gets you the resistance. It covers just the good bases. So just remake D2. It's that simple. Exactly. No. Once again, not looking for a remake of D2. This is PoE once again right here. I just believe simple affix pool is the better way to go. Other than that, I like what they've done with the items, right? I'll go ahead and leave that piece alone. I think that this, as long as this legendary affix piece doesn't get too overpowered, like we said, if it's not like 50% fireball damage, because then that just always becomes all you do is hunt for gear with 50% fireball damage. But as long as that stuff doesn't get too crazy, I think this could actually be a good mix right here of both of those, right? Because then it's like, okay, well, I'm giving up that like 5th affix to have this, and so, all right, I'm gonna give that up, and that's fine because I want to get this stuff. So like, knockdown enemies take, and I'm fine with these. Are like where you add those specifics. Knockdown enemies take 40%, 6% additional damage from your attacks. I think that's where you add those in very specifically. So long as a build can't have like 100% knockdown chance, because then once again, this becomes just way too good and such a dominating stat. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, I feel like we've gone through a lot of this. We can go back to the update. A lot of it still looks really cool. I love that they brought uniques back. I think uniques are where you can really, like I said, these boots would be a fantastic unique. Make it an elite hunter boot or something, right? That's like, to me, not a generic skill, attribute, affix, but rather a very specific one. So yeah, legendaries, or are legendaries having their own affix pool maybe? So they're going to be separate. But like from here, they say legendaries as rare items with one affix replaced. So from this current state, I would say those are some weird ones. I think the item art is definitely getting a lot cooler. I love seeing all of that stuff. I hope to see that like on the characters and things. I think that's a really cool way to, show how cool your character gets, is as you get better gear, it looks cooler. Uniques coming back is fantastic. So yeah, overall, I'm like 8.5 out of 10 on this update, probably 9 out of 10. Very happy with all of it. The only concern piece I have really is the affix pool for magic rare, and whatever, not legendary. I think that's the only real concern I have right there. So other than that, I think it looks pretty cool. I'm very excited after this for sure. And I would probably like a little bit of like a look change, but this is me being picky, right? If I get to be picky, I still think it's the font. There's just something about the font that does it to me. Every time I see it, I'm always like, just change the font or something. It's very picky. I know. It's super picky. It's as picky as you can get. And so aesthetics, that's end game. That's whatever. That's the end stages of it. But it just looks too nice. You know, the font's like too friendly or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not saying go to the D2 font. That font gets pretty horrible in its own regard, and 5s and 6s and stuff. But there's some sort of change there. So, anyways, that right there is going to be Mr. Llama's overview of the update. Like I said, really happy with it. I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments that are like, just go play Diablo 2, noob, and all that stuff. And, YouTube comments, what you going to do about it? But, like I say, I don't think item affix pools being simple and clean is so much a Diablo 2 specific thing as a majority of ARPGs that I've played and I've enjoyed have that affix pool kind of more simple in that regard. And then when you get to the legendary affix add-on, or you get to the unique item or whatever it is, then you start to throw in maybe a couple of these like different styles, right? Elite killer boots, and I put those on. So, yeah. Anyways, with that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to leave some comments down below about your thoughts on the update. And I'll see you guys later. Peace, YouTube.